you know, the time when we're just like resting a lot, all of us. Okay. The time when we're resting a lot, all of us. The time that you see us resting a lot and stuff, you can see that during this rest period, there's a lot of work going on. In other dimensions. So I want to share with you guys a couple of things that I'm discovering about what's taking place right now. I've been like, my dreams have been extremely vivid, and like when I'm saying my dreams, it's because Spirit wants you to know, like, there's some kind of new gifts you're discovering, like a new thing that you're discovering you're good at, or you're doing that you didn't even know. So I was being sent in dreams to like families whose family members like died in a bad way. Like, okay, so for instance, this one family I was with, the guy accidentally started, okay. Blech. Sorry. I don't mean to be grossed out, but it's what I saw in the dream. It was like, you have to understand, some of these people, spirits, they end up looking really like, can you get that image out of my head, please? Really like, you know, they look strange in the dreams. They're like, you know, they have different faces, different heads. So you could say they look like aliens for some of you, but it's because like the way they passed is the way they, like, some of them get stuck that way, right? So in the dream, I was with his family. His family was here. He was standing there. I was counseling. I was standing in the corner like this, and I was counseling. And what do you call it? So he was talking to them. He was trying. I was like, he's trying to talk to you. Like, he's trying to say sorry and stuff like that. Like, and then I had this woman with me. She was a black woman. She was also like a spirit guide. We were working together, and she was like trying to explain to the family, because the family was like, I don't want to talk to him. And we were counseling the two, almost like the person who was stuck in like a dark place in the spirit world, and then those people who were like in a better place in the spirit world. We brought them together to try to counsel them, so that the people stuck in the darkest parts of the spirit world can go over to the lighter parts of the spirit world, right? So I was counseling them like a social worker, like a counselor. I was like a social worker being sensitive to, I can't say any different, but if it was you, you'd say that I was being sent to demons' houses to try to change them from like being angry, mad, and manipulative, whatever, to go into the light with their families. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So so basically I'm a demon counselor now. Like, I don't know. It's like, you know, Constantine. You ever seen Constantine? Like that. Like, he goes and fights them off, but like, instead of me fighting them, I go to like their families and then tell them their family member is stuck in the darkness, and then I tell them why. So for instance, this one guy, he had started a fire and it killed people, so it made him like angry. He thought he was this bad person, and he was punishing himself, and he ended up in the dark energy world feeling like he was a bad person and punishing himself, but he was not there because he was a bad person. It was an accident, but he believed he did it on purpose. So he was stuck over there. So I was trying to convince the family that it was an accident, and then tell him that he doesn't belong here. And then he was like doing something weird with his head, and then the family was like that. And I was like, no, you guys have to understand, he's stuck there because he thinks he did that. He didn't do it. So I was like a counselor for them. It's very weird. So anyway, I just wanted to share that part, right? Because some of you are discovering new things about you that you're able to do. Yeah. Yep. Because like, okay, so I'm seeing some of you are like this, you know, because you're, okay. The reason why I'm hearing you've traveled through a lot of these darker spaces in your sleep, in your dreams, is because you needed to prepare to become like not afraid of those things. Like, so for instance, if you're going to be sent into like, the world of darkness where there's like a bunch of, you're going to call them demons. I'm going to say people trapped in that energy. That's how I'm going to call it. I want to say it's people trapped in that dark energy, because they're never bad, but they grow so much thinking they're bad. They just get stuck that way. Like, I'm a bad person, and then they get stuck that way. So they start to vibrate on that frequency. So instead of like looking like a regular human, they start to take on the form of that dark energy that they're manifesting. Does that make sense to anybody? So I guess like now a lot of people are being called into action into those worlds. It's like whatever you volunteered for, I guess, to help as many people as possible. Because as I told you the other day, that I went to this like spirit party. It was like in the spirit mall. I told you guys about this mall where all the spirits, all the people are there. We're there. All of us are there. Our subconsciousness, a part of our energetic frequency, is in this Akashic mall type of place, and we're all there trying to figure out like which next karmic lesson we're gonna take on. So that's why I'm saying to you, like, if you feel the need to step back and just stay away from everybody and just be on like by yourself, away from everything right now, there's a reason why. And this is another thing. If you feel the need, you need to randomly sleep during the day, that's another reason why. Because I don't know about you, but for me, I've been doing a lot. It's not even work for me. I've been helping other people in dreams. Like, I'm going to sleep and going to people's realities and like helping them. Like, it's not even me. I think my part, like all the self-healing shit, I'm finished with. Now I'm at that space where like I told you guys, we're gonna get called up to duty, we're gonna get called up to work. And if you're having dreams more with like other people and doing this, you're there like to help them now. So like you almost like had to go through the initiation process. I hope this makes sense for you guys, but it's making sense for me. I just hope it's making sense for you, because it's making sense for me because I'm experiencing it. But some of you might be like, what the fuck she's talking about? But that's okay, because some of you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. Hello, living late. Yeah. So I wanted to say that because that's why so many of us are kind of like in hermit mode right now. A lot of us are being guided towards like a new way of like doing work, is how I'm gonna keep saying it, because that's how I feel like it is. Like, you're doing some kind of work that and another thing, you're discovering that you're discovering something, and it's like sometimes I'll get sent into these darker worlds sometimes, and it's like you go through like portals and levels of these darker worlds. It's like the 7 levels of heaven, 7 levels of hell, right? It's like levels, right? So I remember being at the lowest level, and now I'm up at like the topper level where people in hell are like stuck there. They like got themselves stuck there. It's not like they're stuck there because their mind, you know what I'm saying? Their consciousness stuck them there. So like I'm going through these portals, and this one level I went to, these things try to attack me, like these like entities, because I was in their world, right? They're like, the fuck are you doing here? You don't belong here, right? So, excuse me, sorry guys. So I've been constantly doing Malayan leaf tea, and it's been working. As you can see, my cough doesn't sound like it did before. But I went into that level, and they were mad that I was in their hell, I guess, and they tried to attack me, like 6 of them. They all came at me, and they grabbed me. All of them were picking me up one after the other and throwing me around. I said, "Get off of me!" And I threw them all off me and put myself back on the ground. And then I heard like spirit cheering for me. I heard people going, "Yeah, Flo, yeah." It was so crazy, bro. Like, the shit I'm experiencing, I don't know if anybody else experiences this stuff, but I be experiencing some shit, like movie shit. Like, I could write a whole movie about the stuff I'm experiencing. No, you don't die in your dreams. You do not die in your dreams. That's not how it works. You go to sleep, your body sleeps, and your spirit, especially if you're a worker like me, a worker bee, like you're a spirit guide and a counselor and a healer, and you travel dimensions, you travel multi-dimensions. I will sometimes be on planets, on starships, talking to somebody from the future. Or sometimes, like I told you guys, I sat with this kid in the spaceship, and we were sitting on the spaceship. It was probably 2060 is what I'm hearing. That's the kind of timeline it was. And we were sitting on the spaceship, and he said to me, we were sitting, I was looking out the window, I was like, this is beautiful. And he was like, I know, right? And then I said, so tell me something important that I need to know to bring back to the humans on our time. So he said, by this time in the future, he goes, most humans are going to care about technology more than they're going to care about their own kids. And I looked at him, I was like, I'll never care about technology more than I care about my own kid. He said, I didn't say you. He said, I said humans. And I remember seeing that dream, and I'll never forget it. And then there was the one time where we were on a spaceship, and there was all these girls, and they were all healers, and they all had like the star and the moon on them, and they were there studying to be like become more powerful healers, like some, like Naruto shit. Naruto, I'm hearing. What's Naruto? I don't know. But it's like some, future shit. I've had dreams that I've fought battles on spaceships. I've had dreams where I've been in hells. I had dreams where I've been in sort of kind of like heaven areas, like, angelic, like heavenly body areas where I'm sitting there with angel wings and I'm talking to people. And these are, you might say they're dreams, right? You're just a no, I'm a prolific dreamer. I'm not just a dreamer. I don't just dream shit up like, oh, I'm bored, let me dream. No, I travel. I travel through timelines, through dimensions, and I'm shown so much. And I know for a fact I'm supposed to write a book or something about this, but it's the kind of information that I'm shown that it's so much that I would have to like literally sit and talk and record it and then have somebody type it for me. There's no way. I would be typing for years. Like Dolores Cannon, she had somebody help her like that. She talked about everything. She talked about all her experiences, and then she had like a ghostwriter write everything out for her. And that's the way I need to do it, because I have so much information coming at me. It's so much. There's all the time. It's information. It's not an overload, but that's why most of the times, like, that's why I feel sometimes so tired and drained and stuff like that. It's just because, I'm a storer, information processing storer. Like, I store information, I gather data, I gather information and I'm telling you this for a reason. If I'm saying this, you're watching this and you're still watching it, is because you're somewhere along the lines, your spirit's like, yo, me too, bro, me too. Flo, me too. I'll be going through that shit too. Yeah, well, that's why I'm trying to tell you. That's especially right now in this time right now, where people are feeling like it's like they have a lot of sleep that they need to do. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't want to do nothing. It's you're really doing a lot of work in those. For some of you, it's getting over some depression, though. I'm not going to lie. It's like Spirit saying, like, there is some of you that you got to look into that. If you're feeling, like, depressive symptoms, where it's to the point where you just don't want to, like, you're depressed. Like, depression is, like, you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to talk. You don't want to shower. You don't want to go nowhere. It's like you're really, like, if I look at what I'm doing right now, it could look, sound, and feel like depression, but it's not. I'm not depressed because I'm just... I know me. Like, if I'm sleeping and I'm going to sleep and I'm having all these like phenomenal dreams, it's like I know I'm doing some work right now in the worlds, because I'm able to, because it's winter time. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. So my spirit is taking full advantage of this time. Thank you, Spirit, for confirming on the right side. Can you please get your ass out of my way? Cool, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because it's you. I banish you. I hex you out. Goodbye. There's a lot of energy coming through here. It's like left and right and left. You got to pay attention to what touches your spirit right now. And I know a lot of people, like, yeah, if you're watching my videos and shit, then there's something about you that's like a lot like me, because you wouldn't even be listening to me right now if you didn't have the powers, the superpowers, the energy that I do. And if you weren't even like in this level of like ascension process. And this level of ascension process can be super draining and tired and difficult. It can be, but it's not. It's if you try to look at it more like in a positive stance. Like I'm not like complaining about anything I'm experiencing right now, because I know that I'm going through it for a reason, and it's like it's like initiation process. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, thank you. They're scratching. They're like tickling me on the right eye too. It's like ascension process, like initiation, like, you know, like a shaman ritualistic initiation for shamans. When there's a person in the village and the main shaman, the big head honcho shaman, sees that there's like a person in the village, and they're kind of, quote unquote, in Western society, they're losing their mind. That main shaman, the head shaman, will see that person going through an initiation. So like the village will be like, shaman, there's a man down here in the village, and he's losing his mind. He's saying that he's hearing voices, and he's saying, in the Western society, they would instantly pick him up and be like, oh, he's schizophrenic, we need to take him to a psychiatrist. But that shaman will say, bring me that shaman in training over here. Thank you, Void, for gifting another membership. Thank you. You know, so that shaman will initiate that person, because that's how, in reality, that's how it is, you know what I'm saying? But in the Western society, we automatically call people crazy and shit like that. I don't know if you've ever seen that show Evil. It's called Evil, the show. And it's about 3 assessors who go around and determine whether somebody's possessed or they're psychotic, or is it scientific. So they have like the scientists, they have the psychologist, and then they have the priest. So they take all this, the scientists, the psychologists, and the priest, and they're assessors for the Vatican, for the Catholic Church. And what happens is people call to the Catholic Church and they say, hey, you know, these toys are possessed. I need somebody to come and check this out. And then they'll have the 3 of them go there. So the priest, who's a believer, the psychologist, who's a what is those, agnostic, and the other one is a atheist. So they have these 3 different perspectives go in there, and they figure out, a lot of times they figure out it's scientific. A couple of times they figure out it's spiritual, but the scientist and the agnostic never want to admit that, right? And then they have the other one, like the Catholic nun who can see demons. She could see them. So the psychologist says that somebody who has mental issues, or knows that someone has depression, they see it as an outside entity. So if someone has depression, they'll see that depression as an entity, as a demon. So if you're, like I always say, depressions are entities and stuff like that. But the reason why is because I'm viewing it from a spiritual point, but not a religious point, a spiritual point. And I strongly believe, I know that there's outside influences everywhere. Like there's outside influences everywhere. In order to determine whether you're going to be strong enough to be able to process information and not turn yourself crazy, you're going to have to do the assessing, just like those psychologists. You have to go through the psychology, through the science, and then come to the spiritual. Once the psychology and the science don't work, then you got to come and figure out what's going on spiritually, because people don't want to head to the spiritual right away, because to them that's crazy. But it's crazy in all many ways. You can look at somebody as crazy in 1,000 different ways, but when somebody is experiencing something that's unexplanatory by science, nature, and anything else, the fuck you beeping for? There's nobody behind me. The fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like right there's probably a ghost standing behind me. The car's like, beep, beep, ghost. No, just kidding. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot, you know what I'm saying, that I wanted to like say, because I know that a lot of people are experiencing right now the in between, right? It's the in between from one thing to another, trying to discover who you are, what's going on. And especially right now, many people are feeling very stagnant and stuck, and feeling like they're not doing shit with their life. And like, it's not like that. Because you know what? I was looking at it like that, so I don't give a shit right now. Like I told my spirit guys, I'm chilling. Like I'm chilling. And I know for a fact that sometimes you just gotta sit still, because while all the bigger stuff is taking place, while your spirit guides, your starseed families, all of these people galactically are taking care of something universally that we can't explain. We should just sit back and relax, bro. You know, that's our, like, humans. I'm going to say this again. I said it before, but I'll say it again. I know it's repetitive, but some people need to hear it more than once. Humans are doers, right? We are little doers. We're worker bees. Why? Because we originally came here as slaves. Every one of us. We were born as slaves here. Like, when they brought us onto earth, they brought us here to mine their gold, to build them things, to do this, to do that. I'm saying, like, we are free sovereign beings. However, they turned us into slaves. So humans, we still have that little, you know, slave mentality clicked into our brain, and we're like little worker bees, and we just want to go, go. Bzz, bzz. That's why we're always working, moving. Meanwhile, you know, it was supposed to be a time for work, a time for rest, a time for travel, a time for movement. That's how it should have been, like the Mayans believed, right? That's why the Mayans ascended together, because they had the small collective of the village, right? There was a village of Mayans, right? It's like a whole race of Mayans didn't just disappear, they ascended. So they discovered, like, they were looking into research to go into the sun. When Taurus, the bull, and the sun come into alignment, a black square hole goes into the sun, and there's a way to find a portal and walk into it, and you could go into the heavens, right? And basically become stars, become heavens, become, you know, whatever. And that they found that way. They all found it together. And they found it because they believe, when those beings came down and told them, you can ascend through this, through that, they listened. As a part of humanity, we as a whole, we've lost our connection to spirit. And now that we're regaining it back, you can see the darkness of the matrix fighting us so hard. They're fighting us to the fullest to not get our spiritual nature back. They don't want us to, because they know if we get our spiritual nature back, we become free from them. We become free sovereign beings, and we are no longer their slaves. And that's all they want. Why do they keep building the reincarnation cycles? They keep doing that to keep bringing you here on earth for their purpose, not for your own. If you choose to reincarnate on earth for your own agenda, you're like, I want to go back and fix this karma, like I just want to do it for me, that's different. It's freedom. But when you get tricked into the false white light, the false white hope, and you get tricked into, I mean, look at it. I mean, really, like, I look at the Catholic Church, the it's religion. Religion is fucking what's killing people. You know what I'm saying? Because it's, first of all, it's a patriarchy. It has nothing to do. Women are always a slut or the bitch on the sideline. You know. Meanwhile, the women were the ones who are doing all the real shit in the behind. Like, I'm talking about the real work. But anyway, it's not about men or women. I don't give a shit about that. Because I know in a past life I was once part of that patriarchy, of that religious patriarchy, where I was one of those men who looked at women like, go cook me something, lady. You know, and that really, like, irks my soul. But at the end of the day, I learned that lesson in this lifetime, to respect both masculine and feminine as divine beings and as equal workers for the divine. You know, I'm at that point right now. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Thank you for... Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm at that point right now where I've gotten to the point with my spirit guides, and I'm like, you know what? Listen to me. I'm going to tell you like this right now. I made some changes that I needed to make. Some changes. I still got things I need to do, like, you know, focus more on my health, work on not smoking cigarettes, or, you know, which I feel like I slow down a lot. I was going crazy with the cigarettes like the past 3 months. I was like, and in the kratom I was taking that too every day, but like now I feel like if I take it, I take 1 or 2 instead of like 3 or 4 like I was before. I've changed that, so I'm proud of myself for that, you know. And I'm working on my spiritual self, meaning like I'm trying to understand that I don't need to be doing all the time in order to feel like successful or whatever, you know. And I do have goals and dreams and wishes and things that I want, but I do know, I understand this, the laws of the universe is that the opportunities will come to us when it is divine timing. So why am I pressuring myself to make it happen now? Because at this point, like, when you're trying to pressure the universe, this wheel that's around like this, you're trying to pressure that wheel to break in half and go through the wheel. You can't. You got to go through the full circle to get to the end. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's like that. It's like, I'm telling you. And then all this, like, these lies that the human race teaches us about, You're not successful if you don't have this. You're not success. You know, I first of all, I don't subscribe to any matrix ideals. I really don't. I really don't. I don't subscribe to religions. I don't subscribe to like marital contracts. None of that stuff. None of that stuff. If I was to get married to someone, it'd be a spiritual marriage, and I would love and know that I'm just not binding myself to the matrix ideals of marriage. Like, I'm just not going to do it, because that's a contract I'm signing with God knows who. But I still would spiritually, you know, marry someone, because if I love someone, I want that spiritual connection. Like, if you meet that one person, right? And a lot of people are out here single, and then they make us feel like we're losers because we're single. But then, like, people that are in relationships are always looking for someone else to fuck. So I don't know what you want from us. Like, I decided I'm gonna be happy where I'm at and wherever the universe guides me. If tomorrow the universe guided me and some guy was like, yo, you fly, and I'm like looking like this, you know what I'm saying? I look like a fucking mummy walking the streets, and he's like, what's up, ma, how you doing, let me get your number, you know, and I'm like, oh, and then we like connect. I'm gonna be like, what's up, let's go on a date, dress up and look nice and go on dates and shit. But I'm not, you know, I'm not with or for or against anything. That's the point. That's what I learned. That's one thing you need to get shelf stable. I'm seeing the word shelf stable right there. Get shelf stabilized, where you know that you're not against or for anything. Because if you're against it, then you're going to push it away. If you're for it only, you're going to bring that energy towards you. Learn to be neutral in life. Learn to be neutral with religion, neutral with politics, neutrals with ideas, neutrals with, like, if somebody was to talk to me about something, I'm not going to argue and be like, your position is wrong and mine is right. I'm just going to be like, oh, that's your position? Okay, that's a cool way to look at it. Let me tell you mine now. And then if they're like, your position's wrong, I'm like, did I argue with you based on your position? I let you be who you want to be. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's not like that, because they're so busy trying to prove their point and their ways. There's no right or wrong. There's no good and evil, because evil people don't think the things they're doing are evil. And good people, you know, they might think the things they're doing are good, but they're doing evil shit. You see it all the time. You see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that you're in a place of philosophical stance right now. Like, you're in a place of, like, philosophically you're catching a lot of ideas, a lot of things are coming to you. You're looking at the world differently. You're learning more, you're teaching yourself more just by sitting still and just not overthinking, like, you know, overreaching, overthinking, wanting things to be one way or another. It is what it is. Like, it is what it is. Like, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain, because I'm grateful for everything I have. I mean, how dare I complain? There's somebody's outside right now and they're homeless and they're on drugs. Like, I have to think about that. Like, I'm not in that place. I'm here. I'm in this car. I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm in a car. I got heat in here. There's a, you know, just the other night, look, there's a crow right there. A crow just showed up. Hold on, guys. I want to go feed the crow. Go feed the crow. Okay, the crows and the birds are eating now. So, you know, it's like at that point now, and I feel like, really, philosophically speaking, and whatever, spiritually, energetically speaking, I can't complain anymore, because I was like in that space like 2 years straight just complaining about shit, and it was really getting like to the point where I was like, Flo, are you fucking kidding me? You're complaining? Like, you know, people always think the grass is greener on somebody else's side. They don't know that these people are struggling on their own terms, right? I know a friend, right? Her husband and her, they were having problems and shit. So he decided, Flo keeping the bag in the car is adorable. Yeah, because I want to feed the birds and the crows. I'm just weird like that. It's just something that you're always gonna see, a bag of dog food, cat food in my back trunk just in case there's like a stray cat outside, and then like bird food. And when I get my own house, that's like my dreams to have like all these bird feeders all around and shit. And I'm going to have that there. And I'm going to be one of those, like my backyard's going to have hummingbirds, and I'll have those sugar water things ready for them or whatever it is, those hummingbird feeds, because I just love birds and I love animals very much. I really do. But also I want a fence around my yard only because like, you know, if I get a pool back there or something, I don't want animals going in my pool and shit. But, like I said, I've learned not to complain, bro. Don't complain. There's people out there who are struggling big time right now. Like, you guys remember, I'm going to tell you about my friend with the husband and shit, but you guys remember the other night. You're complaining. We're complaining about shit. But the other night, I told you guys that girl fucking jumped in my car with butt fucking half naked in the middle of the winter. It's freezing outside. She jumped in my car trying to find money to escape somebody who was trying to hurt her because they were doing drugs together. And she tried to escape, and the cops came. You guys were there. You saw it. Like, and I was complaining about shit, and I was like, bro, I'm grateful, bro. Life could be like that right now, so I'm not gonna cry about shit. Like, I'm really not. You know, even when the cops came and he was like, the money, I was like, I don't care about the money. Is she okay? You know what I'm saying? Because something's going on with that bitch. You need to get her some help. And he was like, we're gonna work on that. And then my friend's husband, right? Yeah, she's okay. The cops took her, and he said they're gonna put her into, they were gonna keep her in jail for 48 hours until she sobers up, and then they're gonna look for a treatment center. Like, the judge will recommend the treatment center because she tried to, like, I told him she tried to rob me only because I wanted them to help her. Because if you don't say that, then they'll just hold her for a few hours and let her go. But she was butt ass naked from here up. And I live in a quiet ass neighborhood, so for that to happen was absolutely. What? Like, what the fuck? Like, for her to come to my car out of all cars, you know, she was all the way up the block, and she ran to my car. I know why, because spirits guided her towards it. They were like, go there, because she was fucking terrified. Everything, she was like, who are you? Help me, you know? So she got guided towards my vehicle for a reason, because they knew that I wouldn't, you know, try to hurt her. Instead, I'm going to try to get her help, and that's exactly what I did. When I called the cops, I told them to make sure she gets help, right? Anyway, so there was my friend with her husband, right? My friend with her husband, he thought, like, he wanted to break up with her because she was kind of like a little bit, what's the word? Just a little bit over protective, I'll use, because somebody will use it, crazy, stalker, like they'll use those words. But she was overprotective because this person that she was married to, he was you know, he had a habit of like doing bad things. You know, he's a bad habit type of person, like, you know, drugs, jail. He did all those stuff, and then he got married and he changed. But then, like, you know, the bad boy came back out and was like, come play with us over here. And the demons were calling him, and those demons called him to another location with another married woman, and they were both cheating on their husband and wives together. And he went all the way over there and blah, blah. And I remember telling my friend, I said, he's going to end up getting arrested by her. She's going to call the cops on him. And he's going to go to jail, and all this shit's going to happen, and he's going to realize what an idiot he is to think that other women aren't going to be the same way with him that you were. Because when you act like that, no matter what woman it is, they're not going to take that shit unless they're a complete idiot, right? So all that happened, and then he came. I was like, he'll come back home, so if you want to give him another chance, you go ahead. Whatever. They did. And I'm praying for them every day. She goes, your prayers have been helping. Whatever you've been doing been helping. I'm like, I'm just praying. That's all. And I'm praying to keep his entities away, because I know one thing about me. I had entities too. And when I try to be good, they was calling me like, come back out. Come do drugs. Come hang out with us. We miss you, Flo. We miss you. We miss you. Like, really, they really call you like that. It's like they call you. So I prayed for his entities to not be able to return to that home. And I was hexing them out and praying and sending blessings and prayers and protection to all of that place. Look at all those crows that just set themselves up there because I threw that corn there. They're waiting for their opportunity to come down and eat that corn. So yeah, man, he exactly what I told her was gonna happen. He came back, and she texted me, Flo, everything you said was gonna happen. Like, he came back, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, now what you need to do every single night, I was like, you need to pray. It's like, here's the thing. You know, you have to understand some people's weaknesses towards entities are not like yours. Just because you're strong doesn't make somebody else strong. So you can't be judging people. You want to be like, no, come on, then change. Just do it already. I remember when I was going through depression, addiction, and all that shit for those 5-6 years of my life that I went through it hard. I remember because Albanian people are like, you know, like Indian people, like Italian people, like Spanish people. Depression, therapist, get the hell out of here with that shit. That's bullshit. That's a bullshit lie. You know, they'll tell you like, that's a lie. That's a lie. Like they'll make you feel like you're retarded. Like you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to stop. Yeah. Thank you. Divine. Yes. Yeah. They listen. You know, spirit gets high with us through osmosis. I don't know if you guys know what that is. So osmosis is like when you, like a placebo effect. You know, you give a person 3 pills and you tell them it's a Percocet, and that person will take them and they'll feel high randomly. Meanwhile, it's not even a Percocet. And, you know, the doctors will test that placebo effect on people. Like osmosis is a little bit different, but it's the same. You smoke weed and the entity will basically feel that energy with you. So if you're smoking a lot of weed all day, I'm not talking about you smoke a little blunt here and there, okay, fine. But if you're like constantly all day long smoking, like, you know, I remember at the end of my addiction, like when I was doing coke, like at nighttime and stuff, I would like sometimes, never at home. It was never in my house. I just was one of those people because I knew demons would come around when you're doing that shit. So I'd never do it at home. I'd be like at a hotel or someone's house or something. Towards the end of my high, I remember voices would start talking to me. We got you to do drugs again. You stupid bitch. And they'd be talking like that and shit like that. And you know what? Some people might be like, that's your consciousness talking to you. Maybe it is. Maybe it is, because my consciousness knows that that's not where I'm at. I don't belong there. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what if it was an outside entity who was like, gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I said, you know what? Whether it's my mind or not, I'm not going to feed that voice or that entity anymore. That's not going to happen. Fuck out of here. What do I look like? How come when I did shrooms, because I never really do shrooms, so I did shrooms once or twice in my life, like, and I did it and nothing happened but good things. Like all the, you know, I saw positive things in my head. Why? Because that's not I don't have an addiction for shrooms. Like, but if I was to go out tonight and the old me came out, I was like, let's do some coke, which that won't happen. It's not happening. But if it did, and I went and I was hanging out with some loser doing coke and shit like that, because who else does coke besides bums? You know what I'm saying? It's no longer a drug for the rich. Now it's become crackhead's house. You got to go to people, you know, people with jobs and lives. They don't want to do that shit because they got to wake up the next morning. That's my point. It's usually somebody with no job the next day, got nothing better to do, and you're usually the one buying the drugs for them. That's how I like to view it, period, because it keeps me away from drugs. But if I was to go and do that, I mean, what do you think's gonna happen? They're gonna start talking. I'm not giving that entity that light. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So at this point, it's about choices too, right? It's what choices you make, and the way I choose to live my life right now is like just to be free and happy with who I am and accept myself for who I am, and not complain, because I was complaining a lot. I was in that headspace of complaints, and now if I want to take a day or two to myself, I am, instead of being worried like, oh, am I gonna be able to pay the bills this month, or am I gonna be able to, you know, am I gonna make money? What if I don't go live and nobody watches me anymore? Those are stupid thoughts that come in because the entities want you to be okay. I'm gonna say this with love and light in my heart. Please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not talking shit about other people, but there's readers on here that I see that have to post 10 times a day. That's wild. If you're going live 8 to 10 times a day, or you're posting from morning all the way at night, and the titles of your videos are, this man's sister is calling the cops on you, or this jail, that you're it's right there. It's 333 right there on the clock inside the store. It says 333 right there. That person is trapped in their own hell. She can't get off the computer because the entities are like, say this, say that, say this, say that. And these people are so lost that they want to hear more lost messages instead of like hearing positive shit that helps them grow, right? They want to be lost forever. You know what I'm saying to you? So my decision was I give messages that help people learn what's going on in their ascension. I talk about the dreams that I have. I talk about my ascension. I channel messages. I write letters to you guys from your higher selves. I'm working on the past life letter. It's taking time because I wrote 1 or 2 pages, and then another page wants to come and another page. So I'm just gonna take all the messages and write them down, and then post that. Channeling messages and sometimes tarot, and sometimes just sitting here talking to you about experiences that I'm experiencing, because it helps people grow in their own ascension and their own life. And I learned like that obsessive behavior of like, I gotta do it, I gotta do it, I gotta do it. That's not me no more. I won't be doing that. I'm not gonna kill myself to first of all, you're a light worker, not a light slave. Right? And another thing, I don't pay attention to the negative haters and all that stuff. Honestly, I don't have the energy in me to argue with you back. I just don't. My brain is like, it's shut off to negativity, like, period. I could watch a whole show about negative shit and like 2 seconds later, I forget about it. But I don't watch shows about negative shit. I watch shows that are like, to me, they help me grow spiritually even more. Like I said, if you've never seen, it's on Paramount. I don't know if you have Paramount, but it's called Evil, Evil. If you've never seen it, it's a good show. You're gonna end up liking it. It's a lot of shit goes on there. You're gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's interesting. It's interesting that none of the parts scare me because I'm so used to it, and I've been through most of that shit. So I'm like, I just watch it like this. Like when other people be like, ah! I'm like. It's like I'm dead to the demon world, like, you know what I'm saying? This shit don't scare me no more because I've been there, done that. But I surpassed those levels of the lower entities, and now I'm at a place where like I'm dealing with helping, counseling, spirit guiding people that are stuck in places they don't belong in. Like it was an accident and they thought they killed people, but then their family members thought they did it, and I'm counseling them in the spirit world. Like, that's not what happened. You got to forgive each other. He's stuck there, you're stuck there, you hate each other, they hate each other. Get together. Love. You're fucked up. No, that's not what happened. Like, I'm sitting there trying to explain to these people that this person didn't kill nobody. It was an accident. He lit the fire, fell asleep, and then he blamed himself for the rest of eternity. It's been almost 50, 60 years he's stuck in this dimension telling himself what an evil person he is, and he's starting to look evil because he's believing it. And that's how demons are born. They begin with the thought, oh, I'm an evil person, and then boom, they start to manifest that evilness. Don't get me twisted. You're like, people are born evil. No, like, people are born evil just like they're born gay. Yes, they are, but also nature versus nurture. You see what I'm saying to you? So even if a person is born gay, they're going to be gay regardless, right? But it's a different scenario with evilness, because if somebody is nurtured throughout it's nature versus nurture. If someone is nurtured throughout their life, and they were, let's say if Hitler, right? If he would have had family members that took him, played basketball, soccer or whatever, he probably wouldn't have went that direction. But from what I hear, that he went and he was around these evil people, and that's where he learned his evilness from. Even if someone's called to do evil, and that's their mission, to when they come here on earth, they can be swayed to another place. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, you're light workers, not light slaves. Remember that. That's the thing you have to remember. You're not light slaves, you're light workers. And a lot of you are putting yourself in the energy of light slaves, and you're not fucking light slaves, okay? So I hope you receive some kind of message off this. I love you guys. It's snowing. It looks like another few days of just sitting in the house and just, snowed in and shit like that, which I don't mind at all. But I love you guys, and I hope that you understand that at this time, Spirit says that there's going to be a lot of changes for a lot of people, but at the moment, just let yourself just be free and feel okay, and don't get... Thank you so much. Lord, please protect this woman in her course of duty today. Thank you, God, for your love and your mercy. Thank you, God. I don't pray to a Lord because the word Lord, doesn't it mean like slave or something like that? I don't like that word. You guys got to change. And I don't think Jesus likes when you call him Lord either. So I'd rather you call him God than Lord. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that word. I just don't. The word Lord, whenever somebody says it, I'm like, and it doesn't, if it vibrates funny in my body, it's for a reason. It's just something funny about that word, Lord. And I say that with love. Like, I'm not trying to be like, against anything, but I'm telling you for a reason. If my body vibrates funny when you say that word Lord, I just don't, because I'm gonna tell you why. So I was in a dream one time and I was listening to these demons talk to each other, and I wasn't in there, but I can hear them. I was like almost like I had like a earphone and I was listening in on them. And he goes like this, the girl goes, oh my God, where did you get all these gifts? Right? They're like in a very dark dimension. And he's like, they gave it to me for doing all that work, for getting on them. I got them, like I'm gonna get them all. I'm their favorite worker, he says. And she goes, what do you mean? What do you do? And like he was like, nothing. He's like, I just, I do stuff, you know what I'm saying? She goes, but because she's there with him, but she's like delusional, basically, obviously. He's like, I just do stuff for them, I do stuff I gotta do for them. And then he goes like this. They'd be like, oh Lord, please save me, Lord. Yeah, keep playing, he said, oh yeah, keep praying to our Lord. That's what he said in the dream. So that's the dream I had. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say that. The word Lord, I feel like, because, our Lord is what? Don't they use that for Satan, right? Yeah, as above, so below, too, though. You have to understand that. But just, like, try not to use words that vibrate, like in a negative way. Can somebody look up what the word Lord means, please? I know it means something that I didn't like when I saw it. I know that. I can't remember, but I know it. Yeah, lords and ladies, like the landlords. Exactly. It's like somebody who you owe money to, somebody who's enslaved you. That's what it feels like for me. Yeah. But that's just my thoughts. It doesn't mean that you have to think that way. I'm a believer in transcendence. So if you're a person, even if something's evil, if you turn it into something positive and loving, you can transmute that energy. I truly believe that. Lord means master, right? Okay, exactly. I told you. That's why. And I don't like that word. Like, nobody's my master. Like, no offense. And Jesus doesn't want you to think he's your master either. He's your teacher. He's your guide. He ain't your damn master. And if you keep talking about him that way, he's just gonna be like, come on, I came down here to enlighten you, to bring you to the level of ascension that I received. We're all the sons and daughters of God, okay? Son of man, you know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. Someone or something having a power, authority, or influence over your master or ruler. There we go. That sounds like, if you really want to talk about Satan, right? Which, like I said, I'm not... I believe strongly that humans manifested hells and heavens through their own consciousness. That's something that was manifested. You are what you believe, and I truly don't believe that I will ever experience any of those levels of those. Like, it's no such thing as, for me, heaven or hell. It's like going home, right? Where do I feel most comfortable? That's where I'll be. I don't believe in that. And if I'm going through any levels of hell right now in my dreams, it's only to help other people get the fuck out. And I walk through those dimensions because my spirit guides want me to see that this is where humans, they get stuck in these places. This is where they're at. This is what they're doing to themselves with their consciousness. If they don't start to clear all that, like all that, clear all that off your head, all of it, and restart, refocus. They say to meditate and to go into the void and to rediscover your path and who you truly are. Forget about, listen, I'm sorry to say it, but you got to forget about everything you learned, like religiously, spiritually, emotionally, from your parents, from school, from teachers. You have to forget about everything you learned and relearn everything. It's the fool's journey, right? Like in Dante's Inferno, when he says, all ye who enter here abandon all hope, right? It's like Dante's Inferno. He says the person's got to go in through the levels of hell, like to get through that and out of there, right? He says when you walk in there, all ye abandon all hope. All ye who enter here abandon all hope. So when you go through spiritual growth and the fool's journey, you relearn everything, right? It's the child with the parent. They leave the home. Once they leave the home, they look back and they realize, like, what the fuck? None of this makes sense to me. Why was I doing any of this? And they relearn everything. They go on their own discovery, the Fool's Journey. If you never read the Fool's Journey, you need to read it, okay? Yeah. All right, guys, I love you. I love you. I'll see you guys a little bit later. You know, just know that spirit is guiding us right now, and just relax. Just chill the fuck out. Don't get too stressed out over shit. Sit back, relax, and you'll be all right, all right? I love you. I'm gonna go take some money out of the bank, bro. I'm so fucking tired right now. It's snowing, so I gotta get everything done now because I'm not gonna drive later in this crazy ass snow. See, it's already starting to snow. All right, guys, love you. See you later. I'll probably come back later on, yeah. I love you. I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Remember who the fuck you are, too, and don't forget how powerful you are. And don't let nobody intimidate you. Or make you feel like shit. Or none of that shit. People be like, hey, you look old. Yeah, you look stressed out. Great. Thank you. I'm beautiful. Thank you. I am the most beautiful person I know. So that's all that matters. All right. That sounds stuck up, conceited, but it's not. I mean beautiful inside and out.